What's going on? Brian Tong here with the Apple Bits for all the good and bad inside the world of Apple. And hey, this is my reactions to all of Apple's big announcements at their It's Showtime keynote. And it was a whole lot of show with maybe not so much go just yet. Now, before you think I'm gonna jump all over Apple, I actually think it was a pretty solid keynote for their future services. Maybe not the sexiest one. I know it might have been extremely boring at times.
Thank you.
Hey, Captain America, come on, snap out of it. It wasn't that boring. Okay, maybe it was, but that doesn't really matter. I think if you're part of the hardcore Apple tech enthusiasts, you might be kind of extremely disappointed by this keynote. There was not a single piece of hardware during my live stream. Many of you were, but I would argue that this is Apple changing from just a tech company and now broadening itself out to make it a real committed push, not only as a services brand, because they have to make money somewhere since iPhone sales are dwindling, but they want to make an even bigger push as a brand, if not the brand, in the content space. Now, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. This is going to be a long video, honestly, so you're going to need to buckle up, but let's just go through the order of things they released and break them down before we really get to the main attraction, which was the Apple TV Plus service. All right, first up, Apple News Plus. It's available now, update to iOS 12.2, and you'll see it in the News app. You can sign up for a free trial for a month, and it's $9.99 after that. It's all the magazines you may or may not want. I feel like if you weren't reading digital magazines before, I don't think this is going to really make you read more of them all of a sudden, because, you know, these things called digital magazines and iPads and iOS devices have been out forever now. Now, for me, I jumped on for the 1-month trial, just, you know, check it out. I travel a lot. I'm on the go. I subscribe to digital magazines already, but even I'm not really blown away by this. The two magazines I read constantly with little time that I have, and not even really monthly, I have Wired Magazine. That's on the News Plus service, but I can get that for a year for $10. And then Empire Magazine, which is not on the service, I read that all the time, but it costs me $20 a year. Will I read more magazines during this trial month? Yes, but is this service something that I absolutely need when I really only spend $30 on the year for two magazines that I know I can make time for? That becomes more tricky, because Apple News Plus is nice if it's for you, but I already know it's not for me long term. There's nothing bad about this, so I'm going to give them a glad apple.
Get glad!
Yeah, I'm glad they're doing this, but it's not for me. Also, the whole marketing spin of saying it costs you $8,000 a month if you subscribe to all these magazines, but then you can get them for $9.99 a month. Well, it doesn't unless you were actually spending $8,000 on magazines in the first place. No one is. You know what? That's a bad apple. Boo! Come on, marketing. You are better than that. All right, the Wall Street Journal integration, it's okay. You're only getting 3 days worth of archives. They didn't say that in the keynote, and it's more to help people discover Wall Street Journal content. You can access news from all categories, but its Apple News Plus version isn't like getting a full-on Wall Street Journal digital subscription. There's a distinction. Next up, the new Apple Card credit card. Now, Apple Card is built into the Apple Wallet on iPhone, and you'll be able to sign up for it sometime in the summer. You'll be able to manage and pay your credit card right from your phone. I thought this was kind of cool. The big thing they want you to do is use it to pay with your phone over Apple Pay, right? Really use this card that way. You'll get 2% daily cash back on normal Apple Pay purchases, 3% for purchases made directly through Apple. You also get this crazy, sexy, fancy titanium card with your name laser etched on it, which just screams like status. But if you use the physical card for transactions, you'll only get 1% cash back. They didn't talk about that. So it's really a status symbol for the true baller who don't give a funk and just wants to pay with their titanium laser etched card for just 1% back. And you know what? I'm waiting for them to release this like elite space gray version of this. You know what's going to happen, right? American Express has black. Apple Card, you're going to get space gray. Now, you'll get the cash back directly in the app daily. You'll also be able to manage payments and see some of the spending trends. Apple is also promising that there will be no late fees, no annual fees, no international fees, and no over-the-limit fees with the Apple Card, and lower interest rates with no penalties for missing payments. I mean, that all sounds great. Also, since all transactions happen on device, Apple is pushing, again, privacy big here, because Apple will not be able to see any of your purchases. And that got a huge applause in the room. Privacy. Yes, privacy. And then you realize like probably 95% of the audience still has a Facebook page. Very interesting. All right, there are already other credit cards, with rewards that go towards travel points or even 5% cashback, but it won't arrive daily for them. I think this can be helpful for a lot of people. Obviously, the Apple fan. This isn't a completely revolutionary card, but it does do some really cool new things when tied to the app. And for that, the Apple card gets a good Apple. Yeah, the more I hear about it, the more I like it. All right, let's go to Apple Arcade. It had the best eye candy of the show, but when you don't know the price of the service, it instantly makes it hard for me to truly evaluate. It really is going to be like a Netflix for games. You subscribe to it, and it'll give you access to exclusive games not found anywhere else. Many of these games will be playable offline, offer controller support, plus you can pick up where you left off on multiple Apple devices. The games they showed look great. It's coming this fall to launch with 100 games out of the gates. There's no price for the Apple Arcade subscription service that was given, and I know people will be happy about this, but me personally, I'm kind of gaming less on my phone, so it was a meh Apple for me. I still can't evaluate it fully. My guess on the cost of the service, somewhere between $4.99 and $9.99 per month, but I'm hoping it's really $4.99 for you all. And now, we finally get to Apple TV Plus. It was really the heart of the keynote, and admittedly, they kind of just jumped into the new Apple TV app and really didn't explain clearly what we were looking at. I don't think I'm that dumb. Okay, wait. Don't answer that. But they were jumping around, and if they're thinking that they're revolutionizing television, they're not today, at least. Sometime in May, the Apple TV app will offer add-on paid subscriptions from services like HBO, where you can watch the content directly in the app without getting thrown out to the third-party version of the app. So they're adding subscription service networks and adding Apple TV Plus as a section for Apple original content on their revamped Apple TV app. Okay, follow along. And that has a navigation bar on top, similar to the Xbox One, to better organize content, because someone had to say it. Then Apple went for it with their storytelling trailer. This was like a black and white, dramatic, long trailer to build this drama. It lasted really 5 minutes and 38 seconds and featured in the zoomed-in heads of Steven Spielberg, J.J. Abrams, Octavia Spencer, M. Night Shyamalan, and others. And dude, the only movie I ever walked out of ever in my life was Lady in the Water by M. Night Shyamalan. And that was a bad Apple. I still want my money back. Now, to put in comparison how hard they're pushing to create a new thinking around the Apple brand, I looked back at as many Apple product videos from keynotes I could find, and the only ones that came in at over that 5-minute, 38-second mark was the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. That came in at 6 minutes and 24 seconds. And then we had the original Apple Watch, which was a whopping 10 minutes and 35 seconds, but there's been no video, nothing anywhere near this one in the last 5 years, which shows how important it was to them. Then Apple rolled out A-list celebrity after A-list celebrity after A-list celebrity, and you know what? It didn't really add to the keynote, honestly. Look, even Big Bird got up there and took a page out of a Qualcomm keynote from CES 2013. Look it up. And look, the Steve Jobs Theater, full of Apple employees, was absolutely eating it up, but not everyone did.
Thank you. Thank you.
Come on, Cap. You could show a little more enthusiasm. You are at an Apple keynote. Yeah? You're killing me, Smalls. Now, one thing that doesn't work for a primarily tech-thirsty audience is to do the whole celebrity push, because believe it or not, your products are the celebrities. Don't forget that, right? And Apple hasn't really been impressing us in that space lately beyond the Apple Watch and iPad Pro. That's why you hardcore Apple fans were pretty triggered by this keynote. Like, I heard it all. You're all going to let me know in the comments, I know. But again, I have to like kind of take a step back, and I don't think this keynote was for tech fans. This keynote was for the general consumer that's outside our tech bubble. It was for someone who consumes TV shows and movie content, and Apple wasn't talking to us. The people who are devouring tech videos pretty much every day. They were talking to everyone else. And it's another signal that Apple, the brand, is changing. It's already been changing. They want to be the biggest name in media now, and they're going to try real hard. So after all this, you know, whatever pony show stuff we finally saw a sneak peek or actual content after 30 plus minutes of celebrities just yapping away, when all they had to do was get to this awesome trailer earlier so we could actually get excited about some of the content. It looked good, but again, building a streaming service with must-watch content doesn't happen overnight, even with sexy trailers. Now, Apple can court all the big names they want and give them big money, but it took Netflix, Amazon, and Hulu years before they came up with viable hits, and those shows weren't necessarily led by A-list talent. They built new stars. So I look at the roster here, who they brought on stage. Do any of those celebs scream new, young, fresh, emerging talent? They don't. And this content is clearly going to be geared for an older demographic. And then we know this, okay? There's so many challenges here. The market is so saturated. People aren't just going to say, hey, yeah, I'm going to add on another streaming service. A lot of people are locked in. Apple has to contend with bringing enough compelling content to convince people to really cancel one of their current services and then replace it with Apple TV Plus. That's not easy, and this isn't something that is going to happen overnight, even if Apple wants to move as fast as the tech industry does outside their latest iPad mini and iMac updates. Okay, I had to do that. Now, we won't really know if this is a success until Apple TV Plus has been running for at least a year and a half or more. It's definitely got my attention, but for me, I'll be signing up for the free trial month, and if there's nothing really there for me, then I'm out, and we'll see if I reevaluate that later. And then we got one more thing, and I was juiced. Could it finally be the AirPower? Yes. Apple, you could finally redeem yourself from over a year and a half of what the... They just gave us Oprah. Not the AirPower, Matt. Oprah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Chris Evans, now you have to loosen up, but I know that's what lots of us Apple fans felt like when we were watching some of this. Hey, okay, Oprah Winfrey, that's a big deal, and she made it clear why she had partnered with Apple.
Because they're in a billion pockets, y'all. A billion pockets.
Why was that again, Oprah?
1 billion plus strong.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, it's not like the O channel blew up, so she's coming to Apple, and it's 1 billion devices to see if she can do something more interesting here. And I'm not in her demographic. She's the queen of media, and maybe thinking about her live interviews with Oprah Book Club authors, it's not a sign me up, I can't miss this kind of interesting content. She'll also have 2 documentaries coming to the service as well, so we'll see how that plays out. But the biggest missing piece of this, Apple didn't even tell us the price for the service, right? We don't know what shows it will launch with. We know nothing. All we know is that it's coming in fall to the new Apple TV app. So my guess is it's going to be somewhere between $9.99 and $14.99 because it's Apple, right? Something tells me they're not going to put it as low as $9.99, but I hope I'm wrong. I really do. So Apple TV Plus, it's a wait and see for me right now until its launch. It's setting up Apple for the future. We know iPhones, device sales, they're on the decline, and this is how they're going to make that up with subscription services. We'll just have to wait and see how good it actually is. So yeah, this video is freakishly long, but I want to hear from you in the comments. What would you rate this keynote on a scale of 1 to 5? What was your favorite announcement at the keynote and your least favorite thing? Do you agree or totally disagree with me? I want to see it all. And if you like this video, you know the drill. Thumbs up, and hit that notification bell to get the latest videos from me that will send a vibration to your pants. And if you want to go even deeper with Apple, check out my weekly Apple Bits XL audio podcast. That is a deep dive each week. The podcast and all my content completely independent, and you can help me by supporting it at patreon.com/BrianTong. So the other thing, right? Still no AirPower, and my fear from last week has come true. People will be able to charge their AirPods on a Galaxy S10 before they can charge them on an Apple device. And that's a bad Apple. That's a damn shame, all right? So thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Be safe. Peace.